Hello, I'm Starslayer, and I'm doing today's commentary for this playthrough of Castlevania on the Nintendo 64. I'm not the one actually playing the game, that would be Jude. Shoutouts to Jude. Shoutouts to Morn for coming up with this awesome guest commentary idea for playthroughs of old console games. Shoutouts to everyone else on the Fantasy Strike forums. Shoutouts to Specs for coming up with this whole shoutouts idea. And of course, shoutouts to you for watching this video. We are here in the Tower of Execution, which tells us that the jumping and the general traversing this level will probably be a bit execution heavy. We also see that Dracula obviously built his castle on top of an active volcano, because this is obviously lava down there. So Jude shouldn't jump in there, because I'm pretty sure he will be dead instantly. By the way, the protagonist of this game, or at least the one that is played by Jude here, is called Reinhard Schneider, which is a bit weird because all the Castlevania games that I played had protagonists who were called Belmont, like the famous Belmont family, who is hunting and killing Dracula for generations. Then again, I did not play that many Castlevania games. I only played the very first one for the NES, the very first one for the Game Boy, and a bit of Super Castlevania for, you guessed it, the Super Nintendo. And this is the point where I realize that I've been talking a lot of stuff without really describing and following what is going on right there in the level. Jude has been climbing the tower a bit, has been fighting off Medusa heads and flying bats, and is about to face, I have actually no idea how that enemy is called. I've heard it probably a million times. I've fought those things myself in other Castlevania games, but I think I'm going with Dragonhead. Oh, wait a second. There's an invisible stairway right here. Unfortunately, this stairway was not a stairway to heaven, but only led to a hidden jewel, a special jewel. I have actually no idea what those jewels are for. Jude has been collecting a lot of rubies in this game, and I was too lazy to look up what rubies are for. No, wait, I remember. I think he mentioned that those rubies replace hearts? Yeah, I think that was it. Because hearts were too hard to animate in this game, they used rubies instead, but they serve the same purpose as hearts did in other Castlevania games. Here on the white jewel he takes a quick save, which is a good idea since he went up quite a bit in the tower, and falling down would be quite miserable. Now there's a gate which is locked, and it seems that we need a key for it. And I guess Jude is now running around looking for the key. I hope it isn't hidden too well. Oh, that's a rather obvious trap. Just a bit of jumping here. And what are these? Are those Iron Maidens or sarcophagi? I'm just going with Iron Maidens because it's easier to pronounce Iron Maiden than sarcophagus for me, and I don't even know if that's the real word. So back we go. We didn't get our key. It must be somewhere else. So we're going back, I suppose. This is probably a good point to start a little rant, which I have been thinking about. A rant that concerns the early 3D games of the N64 and PlayStation 1 era. Well, I grew up with the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Game Boy, and the SNES. And, well, okay, As a child, I thought the NES was pretty cool, but later when the SNES came out, I was totally amazed and saw how bad the NES actually looked and how little it could actually do in those games, how limited those were, whereas the SNES games were really great. And there were many games which I absolutely loved to play and even loved to see them play by my friends. And then in the mid-90s, the new console generation came out with the PlayStation 1 from Sony and the Nintendo 64. And I was just flabbergasted to see how bad suddenly many games looked. I mean, they looked worse than the previous generation of consoles to me. The Super Nintendo had such great 2D graphics, and then came this first generation of 3D games, and everything looked blocky and seemed to consist only of little blocks and triangles, and especially the human characters looked horrible. I mean, just look here at Reinhard Schneider, how terrible that model actually is, and the textures of the surroundings aren't that great either. I mean, they're not that much better than textures of the old Doom games or something like that. Well, okay, that was maybe a little bit mean, but only a little bit. So my point is, they had those great 2D games from the early 90s consoles. And then in the mid-90s, when the new console generation came out, so many games just had to be 3D, because it seems they thought, well, 3D is 50% better than 2D. It's right there in the name. It's math. Math proves everything. And then they went out of their way and made all those early 3D games when the technology wasn't actually good enough to make good-looking 3D games, which resulted, of course, in very shitty-looking 3D games. Okay, quick aside, these skeletons here, who Jude is fighting all the time, seem to be a very special kind of skeleton. And not only do they throw bones at you, they also stand up again after he killed them. So actually he didn't kill them, he just made them fall down. There have been a few Medusa heads, and up we go again. So yeah, I somehow interrupted my rant here. Was I finished? No, I think I wasn't finished. I could actually go on about this for hours. But I think I should better come to a conclusion here. Many games of that era fell victim, or became victim, of the cult of the new. 3D was the new kid on the block, and so many people thought it was just better than 2D because it was, of course, more like real life. So the games would be more realistic in 3D than they ever were in 2D. But they completely forgot that the processing power of that time was so far from actually showing realistic graphics that everything that tried to be realistic in 3D was far from looking like it. It looked bad. It just looked bad. And I really wish they would have stuck to 2D games for another generation of consoles before finally switching to 3D. Okay, we've just left the tower area and entered the room of clocks. So I think this is a good point to stop ranting about 3D games and horrible looking 3D games of that era. Jude is looking for hidden objects in those things whose name escaped me right now. And I think it's a good strategy in Castlevania games to always smash everything that's standing around to pieces, because there might be some power-ups in there. a quick save, and there we go. Where will this path lead us? Oh, it's an elevator. Up we go. And a cutscene. Damn. Just wait a second. Okay. Here I have to say again, just look at that face. Look at that face. That's so horrible. I mean, Reinhard Schneider looks like one of those wooden mannequins that artists use when they're painting. And it's actually... Oh, hey! Oh! No, Rosa! Rosa sacrificed herself to save us from death. Did I mention that death is floating there in midair? I think I didn't, because I was so shocked from seeing that face. If only their faces were as pure as their hearts. I mean, this is supposed to be a dramatic death scene. She's dying in his arms. And I just can't take it seriously, because those faces don't even move. There's exactly one expression on their face, and this is horrible to convey any emotion. I mean, couldn't they even made a second set or another expression for this scene, so some more pain. But no, they are just some painted wooden mannequins sitting on the top of a tower. And she vanishes. Boy, I bet he's angry now. He's so angry. Look at him. Now he's facing death. Will he kill death? Can you kill death? We will see shortly, I suppose. And there we go. At least I don't have to look in his face again while the fight is going on. I think throwing those little scythes or those throwing blade things is very typical for death in Castlevania games. And that was a big scythe. Oh, and it hit him. But that doesn't stop him. He's angry now. He's angry, Reinhard Schneider. He will kill death. He will avenge Rosa. Sweeping attack. No, this is some kind of special attack. What's he doing? Oh, whoa! Giant floating fish! Whoa, those are real monstrous fish. I don't know what fish have to do with death. I would have expected more something like skeletons or... Oh! That was it. Death is defeated. That's what you get for making us angry. That's what you get for killing Rosa. One thing that is a bit weird in the Castlevania games is that death is Dracula's demonic servant, which means that Dracula is even more badass than Death himself. Whoa. And there he goes, down to hell. Did he just take his fish with him? Okay, so the boss of the level is defeated, and I suppose we now have to find the exit, or better, the way to the next level. There is none, however. Hey, that's not the exit. That's the way we came up here. Well, I suppose it's the right way after all. And with this, the video comes to a close. And I thank you for watching and for actually enduring my grating voice, my horrible accent and my bad grammar. But I think you came here to watch a fun commentated playthrough and not an English lesson. So, anyway, have fun with the rest of the videos of the series, and remember to never make a sign of the Belmont family angry. Bye!